Sean Hannity, one of the most influential voices in conservative media and a Fox News icon for decades, has been banned from the network. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. After years of dominating headlines and shaping national discourse, Hannity's time at Fox News has ended in a dramatic fallout. What led to this shocking turn of events? What actions caused the network to take such a drastic step? The answers are as explosive as the situation itself, and you won't want to miss the details. Hannity's life is now entering a new chapter. Officially leaving New York behind, he has embraced a fresh start in Florida, the Free State, as he calls it, known for its sunshine, palm trees, and strong Republican presence. The move wasn't sudden, it had been years in the making. Hannity already owned a luxury townhouse in Palm Beach, conveniently located near Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump's estate. On January 2, 2025, Hannity made the big announcement on his iHeartRadio broadcast, "We are now beginning our first broadcast from my new home, and that is in the Free State of Florida. I am out. I am done. I am finished in New York." True to his dramatic style, the announcement highlighted his reasons for the move. He expressed frustration with New York's high taxes, strict regulations, and what he called horrible school districts. Florida, with its lack of state income tax and conservative leadership, represented a place where his values aligned with those in power. Hannity praised Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis and Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, stating, "Finally, I have a government I agree with." Despite the move, Hannity clarified that he might occasionally return to New York for special broadcasts or live audience shows at Fox News Manhattan headquarters, although it remains to be seen how often he'll brave what he referred to as the blue state chaos. Hannity's relocation is part of a broader trend of people moving from blue states to red states, often motivated by lower taxes, political alignment, or lifestyle changes. His move is emblematic of this cultural and political migration. Back in April 2021, Hannity purchased a $5.3 million townhouse in Palm Beach, a sleek and luxurious property that drew attention at the time. However, strict zoning rules in Palm Beach complicated his broadcasting plans. The town prohibits operating businesses out of private residences, a challenge even the late Rush Limbaugh faced when he had to secure commercial space for his radio show despite owning an expansive oceanfront estate in the area. This shift in Hannity's life underscores the challenges and opportunities that come with such a high-profile move, marking the beginning of a new era for the conservative media star. Tax records from Palm Beach County revealed an intriguing detail. Sean Hannity had not registered his Palm Beach townhouse as his primary residence, leading to speculation about the permanence of his move. For a time, it seemed Hannity might reconsider leaving New York entirely. However, he later confirmed that Florida wasn't just a seasonal escape, it was home. True to his personality, when Hannity makes a move, he does it in a big way. Within a year of declaring his departure from New York, Hannity elevated his Florida living to new heights. At the age of 62, he settled into a stunning waterfront mansion in Manalapan, an exclusive enclave in Palm Beach County, for $23.5 million. Situated on a barrier island, the mansion offers breathtaking views of both the Atlantic Ocean and the Intracoastal Waterway. Originally sold for $18 million in 2021, the property underwent significant renovations before Hannity moved in. These upgrades included revamped bathrooms, brand new flooring, and impact-resistant sliding windows, blending modern luxury with timeless elegance. Spanning nearly 2 acres, the estate features approximately 12,000 square feet of living space. Built in 1990, the mansion boasts 8 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, making it an ideal space for hosting friends, family, and VIP guests. The outdoor amenities define Florida luxury living. A sparkling swimming pool provides a refreshing retreat during hot days, while a new seawall and dock add functionality to the waterfront property. A balcony invites relaxation with stunning views and warm ocean breezes, and the rooftop observation terrace offers panoramic vistas of the Atlantic Ocean and the Intracoastal Waterway. Inside, the home is equally luxurious, featuring a cozy fireplace, a bar for entertaining, and a wine room for Hannity's collection. Large windows flood the mansion with natural light, while a sleek kitchen offers ample space for dining and storage. The mansion's journey to Hannity was not without intrigue. According to the Wall Street Journal, the property initially listed for $20 million in February 2024, later being relisted for nearly $25 million before selling at a significant discount. Online images revealed a stylish and welcoming design, with water views visible from nearly every room, including the living room, dining area, and home office, an ideal setting for both relaxation and work. However, some local real estate agents speculate that future buyers might view the home as a teardown opportunity, opting to rebuild on the prime land. For Hannity, though, the property aligns perfectly with his lifestyle and vision. His embrace of Florida is evident. He recently listed his Long Island home for $13.75 million. Interestingly, the buyer identified themselves as a fan of the Fox News star. The sprawling Long Island estate, equipped with a 7-bedroom mansion and a state-of-the-art studio, had served as both a home and a broadcasting hub since Hannity purchased it for $8.5 million in 2008. Hannity's Florida story began in 2021 when he purchased a 3,800-square-foot vacation home in Palm Beach for $5.3 million. Initially, the purchase seemed like a retreat for a busy media mogul. Over time, however, it became evident this was the first step in a life-altering relocation. While luxurious, that property didn't fully align with Hannity's grand vision, prompting his upgrade to the $23.5 million Manalapan mansion. Now based just 30 minutes from Palm Beach, Hannity's new home is more than a residence, it's a declaration of independence and a pursuit of what he calls freedom. This move has raised questions about Hannity's future. Can he make a bigger impact in Florida than in New York? Could this relocation signal the winding down of his time at Fox News? Hannity's high-profile move is part of a broader trend of New Yorkers migrating to red states for political alignment, lower taxes, or a sunnier lifestyle. Yet, the simplicity of this narrative belies the complex motivations behind these headline-making migrations. The Census Bureau's latest figures reveal over 200,000 people have made similar moves, highlighting the cultural and economic shifts reshaping the American landscape. Residents packed their bags and left New York in 2022, the largest exodus in the nation. That's a staggering statistic and one that feeds into Sean Hannity's claim that people are fleeing liberal states for Republican-led ones. But are New Yorkers really making the leap to majority Republican states in droves? The answer, as always, is a bit more complicated. Research by the Fiscal Policy Institute sheds some light on the top destinations for these New York transplants. Sure enough, Florida leads the pack, with 17% of those leaving New York heading to the Sunshine State. So, why are so many people drawn to red states like Florida in the first place? It's not just about politics. These states often boast lower taxes, a lighter regulatory touch, and a reputation for being more business-friendly. For retirees, there's the added bonus of warm weather and no state income tax on retirement income. For families, it might mean lower cost of living expenses and more space to grow. But it's crucial to examine what this migration means beyond economics. One overlooked yet significant factor is the stark difference in life expectancy across these states, a gap that raises questions about the long-term trade-offs of such moves. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people born in New York and California, two wealthy, predominantly Democratic states, enjoy a life expectancy of 78 and 79 years, respectively. Contrast that with Mississippi and Louisiana, two of the poorest, most Republican-leaning states, where life expectancy drops dramatically to 71 and 73 years. That's a difference of nearly a decade in some cases. Why does this disparity exist? A big part of the answer lies in poverty. Red states tend to have higher rates of poverty than blue states, and poverty is a strong indicator of life expectancy. The poorer someone is, the more likely they are to face health challenges, limited access to quality care, and higher mortality rates. But poverty alone doesn't tell the whole story. People in red states often face worse overall health conditions, higher rates of gun-related deaths, and lower levels of education compared to their blue state counterparts. These factors all contribute to shorter lifespans. It's a grim reality, one that reflects broader systemic inequalities across the country. And yet, people continue to migrate to these states. Why? For some, it's purely financial, escaping the crushing cost of living in places like New York and California. For others, it's about finding communities that align with their cultural or political values, even if the trade-off means facing worse health outcomes or fewer educational opportunities for their children. But there's something deeper at play. People may not always weigh life expectancy or broader social indicators in their decision-making. Instead, the allure of immediate affordability, space, and freedom often outweighs the long-term consequences. Lower taxes can overshadow the longer-term realities of health and well-being. Add to this the media narratives that frame these moves as reclaiming freedom or pursuing a better life, and it's easy to see why the risks might be overlooked. As Americans continue to migrate across state lines, sometimes driven by political ideologies, it raises important questions about the long-term implications of these moves. While blue zip codes become blue and red ones deepen their conservatism, these choices about where to live don't just reflect values, they actively shape the length and quality of people's lives. It's a reminder that geography is more than just a backdrop, it's a critical factor in determining health, opportunity, and future outcomes. But as Americans reshape their lives based on ideological lines, figures like Sean Hannity play a critical role in fueling these divides. His rise to prominence reveals how the media not only reflects but amplifies the polarization shaping modern America. Sean Hannity didn't just become a conservative media powerhouse overnight, it's the culmination of years spent building a loyal audience, mastering his craft, and aligning himself with the right political and media figures at pivotal moments. While today he's one of the most recognizable faces on Fox News and a trusted voice for conservative America, Hannity's path to influence started not in front of the camera, but behind the microphone. What many people overlook is that radio, while often seen as less glamorous than television, wields enormous influence. It's a medium that builds deep, personal connections with listeners. And for Sean Hannity, radio has always been home. Long before his nightly TV show reached millions, it was his voice over the airwaves that first connected him to his audience. Millions, Hannity was honing his skills on the airwaves in places like Huntsville, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. As he himself has noted, radio gave him more time, more reach, and an intimacy with his audience that television couldn't match. But his journey wasn't without its stumbles. Early in his career, Hannity took a shot at college radio in Santa Barbara, California, a venture he openly admits was a failure. At the time, he was navigating a space far removed from the conservative strongholds he'd later dominate, and he said, "Look, I was terrible." Yet, that experience was formative, pushing him to refine his voice and find his footing in a medium where he could thrive. From there, he moved to Atlanta, hosting a morning drive show and slowly building his reputation. It was this grassroots approach, connecting with everyday listeners in key conservative regions, that gave him the foundation for his later success. By the time he transitioned to TV, he had already cultivated a loyal fan base. The big break came when Roger Ailes, the legendary and controversial founder of Fox News, spotted Hannity's potential. This discovery led to his role on Hannity and Colmes, a program that paired Hannity with liberal co-host Alan Colmes in a classic right versus left debate format. Around the same time, Hannity joined New York's WAPC radio station, further expanding his influence. By 2001, the search for new syndicated conservative stars was underway, and Hannity was perfectly positioned to step into the role. When ABC Radio decided to syndicate him that same year, they were betting on his ability to resonate with conservative listeners across major markets. But the timing of his debut, September 10, 2001, added an unexpected, seismic shift to his trajectory, as the events of the following day reshaped the political and media landscape in ways no one could have foreseen. The very next day, September 11, 2001, changed the face of the country. In the aftermath of the attacks, Americans turned to talk radio like never before. It wasn't just a source of news, it became a place for people to process their grief, anger, and uncertainty. Hannity, already skilled at connecting with listeners on a personal level, became a prominent voice in this virtual community. As his show reached new ears, many listeners found comfort and validation in his words. For some, he was a voice for their values, their frustrations, and their fears. His success skyrocketed as a result. People who had never heard of Sean Hannity tuned in, liked what they heard, and kept coming back. It wasn't long before he cemented his position as the number 2 figure in talk radio, second only to Rush Limbaugh. Callers often said, "Thank God you're out there, Sean. We have a voice now." This bond wasn't just about the politics, it was about connection. Talk radio, by its nature, fosters an unusually intimate bond between host and listener. Truck drivers, farmers, and countless others who spend hours on the road or in solitary jobs tune in daily, 5 days a week, year-round. They develop a connection with their favorite host that can feel as personal as a friendship. For many conservative listeners, they saw him as someone who reflected their values and stood up for them. He became the person who punched back against the elites, the media, and anyone they felt was maligning or dismissing them. In a polarized political climate, this role was pivotal. Hannity didn't just deliver commentary, he gave his listeners a sense of belonging and empowerment. His show was about building a community, giving a voice to those who felt unheard, and, in many cases, fighting their battles on the airwaves. From that fateful September debut, Sean Hannity's trajectory was unstoppable. The combination of his timing, talent, and ability to resonate with his audience transformed him into one of the most powerful voices in conservative media, a role he continues to hold today. Hannity's influence reached new heights during Donald Trump's rise to power and his eventual victory in the 2016 presidential election. While the influence of talk radio in general elections is often limited by the sheer volume of competing information, 2016 was a unique moment, and Hannity played a critical role in framing the stakes for Republican voters. Looking back to the 2015 Republican primary, some argue that if influential conservative voices like Hannity had been staunchly opposed to Trump from the beginning, they might have derailed his candidacy. Early in the race, there was room for other Republican contenders to challenge Trump's dominance. But Hannity, along with many in conservative media, leaned into Trump's outsider status and resonant messaging, helping solidify his position as the frontrunner. By the time the general election rolled around, Trump faced a steeper challenge, persuading conservatives with reservations about his morals, qualifications, and policies to cast their vote for him. This is where talk radio, and Hannity in particular, stepped in with a relentless campaign of framing the election as a binary choice. For those with doubts about Trump, Hannity's message was clear: Hillary Clinton is worse. Through a drumbeat of criticism targeting Clinton, Hannity and his peers kept the focus on her perceived flaws, her emails, her trustworthiness, and her alignment with liberal policies. This constant framing was about convincing voters to see him as the lesser of two evils. For many conservatives, the idea of a Clinton presidency was painted as an existential threat to their values, making any misgivings about Trump easier to set aside. This strategy of simplifying the stakes and keeping the audience laser-focused on the negatives of the opposition is a hallmark of talk radio, especially during election seasons. Hannity and others created a narrative that resonated deeply with their listeners. No matter what concerns you might have about the Republican candidate, voting Republican is the only option to preserve conservative ideals. This messaging worked. Hannity's influence helped galvanize conservative voters who might have otherwise stayed home, tipping key battleground states and securing Trump's path to the presidency. The election of 2016 wasn't just about Trump's bombastic style or Clinton's controversies, it was also about the role media figures like Sean Hannity played in shaping the narrative, framing the stakes, and mobilizing a deeply loyal audience. Sean Hannity's move to Florida isn't just about a change of scenery, it's a bold shift that reflects his evolving role in conservative media and politics. With his new home base in the Sunshine State, a haven for conservative power players, the question now is, what's next for Hannity? Could this move signal an even bigger chapter in his influence? One thing's certain, whether it's on the airwaves, on screen, or behind the scenes, Hannity's story is far from over. Let us know what you think is ahead for him in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on the stories shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.